Hello friends, welcome to HeliPilot GH. This is the first lesson in a series of presentations on helicopter aviation. Our lesson is on the brief history of aviation. But before you continue, please do not forget to subscribe, like and share this video for others to also benefit. You can ask questions, make contributions and suggestions to clear any doubts and or seek clarification on any lesson or topic. Thank you for your time. Now let us proceed. We'll proceed with this quote, which says, "When once you have tasted flight, you will forever walk the earth with your eye turned skyward, for there you will always long to return." Very interesting quote, but I can tell you that this quote is what has fueled man's desire to achieve flight. Now to our brief history of aviation. I took this picture in a museum in Southeast Asia, which talks about humankind challenging the freedom of birds. We know that birds own the sky. However, after traveling by land and by water, man was exploring the option of traveling from one point to another through the air. And this brought out so many concepts, like you can see on the screen, the flying wagon, and inspired a gentleman called Leonardo da Vinci to study birds and their flight. He came out with several concepts, and this inspired so many people. Fast forward to the 18th century. So many people contributed to the development of aviation. I'm, however, going to highlight just a few. The first I want to highlight we are referred to as the Montgolfier Brothers. These are two gentlemen who, in the 18th century, invented a hot air balloon, and in 1793, they successfully demonstrated the first manned ascent with a balloon. The names are Joseph Michel and Jacques Etienne. On your screen are pictures or depiction of their works. Interesting indeed. The next person was an English engineer called Sir George Cayley, who is often referred to as the father of aviation. In the early 19th century, he made significant contributions to aviation aeronautics, and he is credited for the basic principles of flight and flight design, and he successfully built gliders. He's also credited for the original design of an aircraft in 1799, fixed-wing generation of lift, a separate mechanism for propulsion, and a combined horizontal and vertical cruciform tail. These are concepts that at the end of the series you will understand. On the right of the screen is his picture, and you can see some concepts that he had. Interesting indeed. The third person we will be looking at is a German aviation pioneer called Otto Lilienthal, who also made substantial developments in glider design. He made over 2,000 glider flights, and this greatly influenced future aviators. These are pictures of some of his works, and he was often referred to as the flying man. The flying man. In 1903, something remarkable happened in North Carolina. Two American inventors, popularly known as the Wright brothers, achieved the first powered flight. They flew for 12 seconds over 120 feet. Now we fly for so many hours. But at the time, that was a milestone. And this is a replica or a depiction of the aircraft that they used for the flight. And this is a silver star or a silver plate that they were given to commemorate such an achievement. Following the Wright brothers' success, aviation development accelerated, and various inventors and aviators made significant contributions to aircraft design and performance. So many people contributed to the development of aviation, and it was an impossible task to talk about all of them. So I'm just going to add three more guys here. That's Louis Blériot, Glenn Curtiss, and Alberto Santos Dumont, who also achieved notable milestones. In the development of aviation, that's talking about the early stages, we cannot rule out the effect of war or to be specific, the world wars. And the timing of the development of aviation and the onset of the world wars were sort of intertwined, such that countries, after developing or discovering such a technology, were looking at how to use that to their advantage. And so we cannot rule out the fact that the World War played a crucial role in advancing aviation technology. And aircraft technology was transitioned into research into more military uses of aircraft. We looked at aircraft for reconnaissance, we looked at aircraft for fighters and bombers, looked at new technology like the machine gun, pilot training in aerial warfare and combat tactics, pilot training in dogfights, and the improvement of aircraft structure to withstand rounds from weapons. Even after the First World War, commercial aviation was a concept that people thought of, or researchers thought of. And in 1919, there was the first international passenger flight from London to Paris. And this brought up the concept of the establishment of airlines and global transportation in the air became something that was to grow and grow and grow. It is around this time also that the world powers realized the need to standardize the operation of aircraft or standardize the operation of commercial aircraft. It brought up the concept or brought up the idea of forming a body known as the International Civil Aviation Authority. That's a whole new topic on its own. But just to give you a gist, so this body was formed in 1944, right? Just close to the tail end of the Second World War, just to standardize the operation of commercial air travel. On your screen is a picture of a gentleman referred to as Lindbergh, who did a flight from the west coast of Europe to the east coast of America. And you can see he did it in 33 and a half hours. Interesting. We will not do a flight in 33 and a half hours over the same distance in this modern time. But at the time, this was a milestone. On your screen, pictures of some aircraft that show how aviation has transitioned, or the development of aircraft has transitioned. And on the left of your screen is aviation close to 100 years ago and aviation now. The question is that what does the future hold for us? With the current development, I can tell you that the future is very bright for aviation. So just to summarize what we've done so far, we talked about the fact that human beings challenge the existence of birds in the air by looking for alternate means of travel. After traveling by land and by water, man wanted to travel through the air. And we talked about the fact that a gentleman called Da Vinci came out with concepts. Fast forward to 18th century, Montgolfier Brothers came out with concepts that supported aviation. And we talked about Sir George Cayley, who is referred to as the father of aviation, who is credited for the development of certain concepts around fixed-wing generation of lift and the cruciform. We also talked about Otto Lilienthal, who was very instrumental at the time. He was a German aviator. We spoke about the Wright brothers and their first powered flight in 1903, which took only 12 seconds over a distance of 120 feet. And highlighted the importance of the world wars in the development of the early stages of aviation, or the early development of aviation. I mentioned that aviation is still developing and the future looks bright for aviation. Thank you for staying with us. Kindly join us for the next lesson, which is going to be helicopter aviation. Thank you.